What is going on, guys? It's Adam, aka Marf, and this is Marfoogle News. Tonight we're going to be talking about the CV and how it has hit locally. I am here in Seattle, and it is nuts. I am only speaking for here because I can actually show you what it looks like. Also, I'm going to show you the footage from the Washington State Laboratory where I went in person before this entire declaration was made. Obviously, the entire state is talking about it in the entire country. In fact, the top trending right now is CV Seattle. So we're going to go over that. We're going to go over some tweets. We're going to go over the video of me in person at the Washington State Laboratories where they were supposedly preparing for this in the city. In fact, they moved it from the boons to the city. So we'll be right back right after this. They just can't see. They love the Marfoogle family, but they just can't see. They love the Marfoogle family. All right, if you've never been here before, my name is Adam, aka Marf, and this is a live call-in show. Again, if you've never seen us anywhere else, we are on YouTube with 152,000 subscribers on our main channel, 107,000 subscribers on our backup channel, and then, of course, we have our wonderful, amazing community over on DLive. Now, I'm going to be talking about a lot of subjects that are very sensitive today, so obviously, we are going to be very careful. Now, I just want to show you guys, if you've never been here, you can actually follow along on our website. If you go to our main website, in fact, you will see that everything is organized by thumbnails. So once you go here, you'll see the Washington Outbreak, and you'll see that once you click that, you'll be able to get to see the video live. You'll see all of the links that we have. And of course, I don't actually think it's loaded yet. So of course, that will actually be updated by the end of the show. So what's amazing about that is you can go on a second device and you can actually follow along on all of the articles. We don't say something without backing it up. Now, before we get started, I just want to make clear, nothing in the show should be considered legal, medical, or financial advice. The views of the callers can differ considerably and do not necessarily reflect my opinion, Dex's opinion, or anyone else who helps the show, including our beautiful and wonderful mods. You should always do your own research and consult with professionals. The internet is full of fake news, so please take everything with a grain of salt. With that being said, I want to make sure that you guys know I'm going to be showing you some real footage of the center that they set up, and they actually moved it from out in the sticks to right in the middle of the city. Now, when they moved it, people were like, why did they do that? Why did they put it in between two high schools? Why did they do all of this? And now it kind of makes sense. Maybe, just maybe, they had some stuff or some information we didn't at that time. Going there in hindsight, when you saw it, when you see this video, you're going to see that it was one state trooper guarding the fence. It was a couple federal workers. They had their station set up outside in a tent. I got great footage. I got them. I'll go over that and I'll narrate it. Then we're going to go over all of the today's news, including all of the non-CV related news, which there's a lot of crazy stuff regarding space. As far as we have a glowing object that went past Earth, absolutely nuts. We have a tornado that went through Nashville, which I actually posted at 6:30 in the morning after we found out about that, that I was praying for those folks. It looks like 7 got taken by thy father. So we're going to be talking about that. We're going to be as careful as we can to keep this a friendly show. Now, if you are on DLive, YouTube, or any of our platforms, just make sure you know that you can go to marfooglenews.com. You can follow along. Dex, I would check the website. It's doing something a little bit different than it usually does, but I will make sure that I go back to that by the end. That is actually going to be updated with the caller info, which Dex is going to be screening. You can call in at 224-400-MARF, which is right here. And again, if you don't have a touchtone phone with the numbers, it is 6273 is what MARF stands for. Once you get there, you're going to get a phone tree. You're going to want to press option 4, and then you will get through to the show. Now, actually, we've updated our system and upgraded it so you can actually listen to the show while you're on hold. So if you're on hold for an hour, you can at least enjoy the show at the same time. Now, marfooglenews.com, you're going to have access to all of this. I'm going to go over this footage real quick, and I'm going to cut this in. So, just to introduce this again, I went here, and I was actually, by the end of this, being watched by several people, because obviously I'm a guy sitting outside the gate for 2.5 hours,
And these guys, honestly, it didn't look like much was going on. I'll show you what was going on, and it was actually kind of weird. They had an outside tent. Some neighbor walked up to me and said that his friends worked across at that laboratory when it was normal business hours, and they said that all of the normal employees were not allowed in the main campus. Now, you're seeing all this news coming out of this laboratory here on 15th and 150th that they are doing all of the testing. So I'm going to show you this, and you might just understand what I'm talking about. So this is on 150th and 15th Northeast, which is in Shoreline, Washington. Here's me. I'm going to turn myself up here. Let's see here. I'm here in front of Washington State Laboratories, which is going to be the current or temporary home for anyone who comes in with a suspected case of coronavirus. So behind me, there are some actual trailers, or RVs really, that are supposed to be housing the folks that are coming in. Now, I've been here for about 2 hours, and I will show some clips of kind of the things that I've seen. But I have not seen anyone enter or exit those trailers. I have not seen anybody bring anything to them. I'm assuming they are empty right now. I am assuming that this is set up in case it gets worse. But then again, they said... Now, remember, this is actually I've been right here for this. About 2 hours. But I have not seen anyone enter or exit those trailers. I have not seen anybody bring anything to them. I'm assuming they are empty right now. I am assuming that this is set up in case it gets worse. But then again, they said that North Bend would be the location where they were going to hold them, which if you're a local, you know North Bend is actually forest. It's out in the boons. The place that they had it was a training center for, I believe it was a fire academy, where it was a long kind of dirt road out to the place, and no one would accidentally stumble upon it, basically, which seems like a much smarter place to house a very, 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 very dangerous coronavirus like this. Now, as far as like what's been going on, I will let you know I saw kind of a powwow, a meeting in the tent behind me. I'll show you clips of that. It looked like they all came out. In fact, I even got a clip of one of the women, looks like administration, sanitizing as she came out, and then she went back in. There were a few officers and a few administrative, it looked like a few workers, all coming out of this small tent. So that kind of took away the fact that that's not somewhere where they're housing any victims. That's more so for housing staff, and it's kind of a headquarters. But yeah, it seems like there's not much going on. They've got generators running. What I thought it was interesting is that they are actually running the office outside, not inside the building. And then a neighbor came by and asked me what I was doing, basically said that he actually read Zero Hedge, and he said that he knows people that work here and at the other place when their normal business hours are open. And he said that they are keeping everybody that works there away from the main campus, and they won't let them where they usually work. So, and then if you look at the trailers, they're not that big. They're RVs. They say can house up to 6 people. But then again, that would be pushing it. If you've ever stayed in an RV that size, that would be like pulling down the tables, making beds out of the fold-down tables, pulling down bunks, and then using every bit of space. Now, if you were a family member that did not have it and you were housed in that thing, you most definitely would get it. If we look at what happened with the Diamond Princess cruise, no different than, that was a bigger space, and a lot of people got that from close contact or even touching surfaces, or at least that's what they say happened. Now, as far as this, they actually have a Washington State Patrol, which I'll show you a clip of now, that is technically letting people in and out. I'll show you the video of him walking over, and you can see that it's actually not locked at all. In fact, he just went over kind of as a courtesy to open it for them. So technically, somebody could drive up in here and bust in, but there's no reason, right? Because nobody would want to get in. They would want to get out. But as far as getting out, if there were people housed here, I would assume that that gate would be locked. Because if we've seen what's gone on in China, people don't like being held against their will. And that's exactly what is happening. It's a mandatory lockdown of everything that is going on. I've seen there's several federal vehicles here. There is Homeland Security. And here's a weird thing about this whole thing. First of all, it's sandwiched in between two high schools, or a high school and Furcrest School. So it's literally in the same kind of block as two schools, a field where they're playing basketball and all sorts of that thing. This is normally a public laboratory connected to some sort of foundation building. And then they have signs in the front, which I'll show you a clip of, where they're actually asking to hire nurses and people like that. So I don't know if that's something that was popped up new or that's some campaign that they've been running for a while. Now, as you can see, I actually think we missed the video. There's essentially some posters out front that say hiring, and I believe that was up before this all happened. It was looking for RNs and nurses. It was posted all around the corners, but then there was another sign that looked newer that said looking for phlebotomists. So that one I thought was a little weird. The neighbors in this neighborhood, in fact, including the Shoreline newspaper woman, asked me, and she said, hey, is it okay if I take pictures of you? Or I'm sorry, she asked me if she could post my pictures. She already took pictures of me. She was an older lady, and she was actually feisty. She runs the Shoreline kind of little paper that's free that kind of is handed out in Shoreline or in most of the little stores. And I thought she was totally going to be the opposite. She's like, no, I'm going to go question that officer. She was like totally feisty. She said she was going to try to get in the gate. I was like, wow, she was like 75 years old, or I shouldn't guess her age. But anyways, so that was the Washington State Laboratory. And mind you, this is before all of this went down. This was the 3 days I took off to try to investigate this and to try to go deeper. Now, it kind of makes sense that they moved it into the city now that we saw that one of the first cases was right in Mill Creek. Is that not weird or what? I mean, it was like they kind of saw this coming. Now there's a bunch up there, and then of course you've got in Kirkland the Life Care Center, which has a ton of cases there, and that is a nursing home. Now, we not only had the first U.S. perished, we had 6, and it was like that. Now, I believe, Dex, do we have an update on how many? I think it's 9, right?
Hey, Adam, yes, we're up to 9 now, all in the state of Washington.
So obviously here it's gotten crazy. Now I showed you the videos of Costco, absolutely nuts. People said, oh, this is just a normal Saturday at Costco. And then I showed you the drone footage. Then I showed you the shelves. And then I showed you even employees saying, no, we ran out at 10:30 a.m. We have no water. And I said, do you have any more in back? This is a Costco, mind you. And they said, no, we would pull it out if we did. And that was 3 tagged employees saying, nope, we ran out of everything. Because a lot of people saw the first video I did live. I actually streamed it walking into through this line of cars, which, mind you, was a mile away, going in. And the first guy I asked was kind of a smart aleck. And he goes, oh, yeah, there's tons of stuff. He's like, there's only one way in and one way out, though. At that point, they weren't doing an entrance exit. They were doing one entrance and one exit. I believe they were probably afraid of people stealing stuff. They had security. They had multiple employees up front, whereas normally there's, one person or 2 people checking in and then 2 people checking out, checking receipts. This had like 5 people up front and 5 people up front. By the time I got there, it looked like they closed down the one way in, one way out thing. It was pretty nuts. And then they had the ropes trying to let people in and try to do it as organized as they possibly could. So on top of all of that, we showed you that. He goes, oh, there's tons of stuff. Oh. And people were commenting and going, see, the guy said there was tons of stuff. Oh, that's a normal Saturday. I showed you the inside. I showed you the drone footage. It wasn't a normal Saturday. The guy was being a smart aleck. Not only that, there's tons of stuff, but not the stuff that you would want if you're going in there for prep supplies. There was no sanitizer. There was no water. There was no nothing. By the time I got there, there wasn't even Arrowhead. I even asked the employee, the guy that was fetching carts, and he said, oh, no, we're out of everything. This is nuts. I said, is this just a regular Saturday, or is this because of of the event. He goes, it's the event for sure. We're out of everything. We're sanitizer, everything. So I've been doing, a lot of this in-place kind of investigations, and it's because I feel like there's nobody else other than the MSM doing it. And I don't think, we're extremely careful. I went in with full gear. I looked like an idiot, and that's just a precaution. And, people can make fun of me. People can say this and that. The thing is I'm not trying to spread fear. People have said that. And even last night's show, people literally came in. I mean, names I've never seen before, and maybe they're just normal watchers who never speak up, and this just totally invigorated them to speak up in chat for the first time. Saw tons of new names out of nowhere saying, this is fear, you're feeding into the fear, you're feeding. No, I'm not. I'm trying to tell you, and I'm trying to warn people, you need to get supplies before that fear is what takes over. Someone from Vancouver Island, like I said, oh, Vancouver Island is fine. And Vancouver Island is local, but it's a little tiny island. It's kind of its own community. I mean, the people there are different. My cousin lived there, very beautiful and nice people. But she said, because we're not feeding into the fear. And I thought that was the biggest mistake ever. Because the second you have your first case there, your 2, 3, 4 stores, whatever's there, is going to be completely empty. The biggest mistake is to think that your neighborhood is different from everybody else's. We're all human beings, and we give in and we secede to this fear, right? And that's what I'm not trying to do. I'm trying to tell you that you can calmly go to the places, be smart about it, go to the stores that have stuff, because regardless of what this is, regardless as if you think this was made up or if this is a fairy tale, it's still going to affect your real life when you go to the store and you can't get things like soap. It first went sanitizer, then it went isopropyl, and I showed you multiple stores, not just one, multiple, and that was inside city limits. Now it's going to the point where it's Dial soap, it's all of the normal stuff. The Targets, the Fred Meyers, they're all out of water. They're not going to have water. Literally, I went the day after in the morning. They got a fresh shipment. It was gone by 9:30 a.m. So again, somebody from outside the city can go, yeah, we're fine. There's tons of stuff in our store. Get it, because people like me are going to be going out there and getting it. I'm telling you, there's all the people in the city. I've talked to at least 5 people, and I've seen on Facebook, my wife has been telling me people are driving 5-6 hours to go get stuff. So they're going to go out to that city or go out to that, little town, and they're going to raid your supplies. So even if your town is just the, most unusual town ever and nobody fears and panics, they're still going to take your stuff. So if this gets to the point now with the suppliers, I don't think people realize how much stuff is made over there. The weirdest companies are now not having supplies come out. Even Canon cameras. I just saw an article that Canon is shutting down 5 of their factories in Japan because of issues regarding this event. So it's a big deal. We need to take precautions. We need to be careful about it. So that's all I'm saying. I'm not trying to panic people. I'm trying to tell you that others are panicking. So please just set yourself up for success and get some of the simple stuff, especially if your stores still have that stuff, which, by the way, we've seen on Twitter all over the country in places that don't even have a case yet are now getting this stuff and trying to get as much as they can. And here's the biggest problem, and I'll tell you this right now, is a lot of people are getting stuff that they don't need. They're getting way too much. And then that leaves others who are actually in a work or a job that basically talks to people all day, or if you're a cashier and you can't even get sanitizer, that's crazy, okay? And otherwise, if you're somebody who works from home and you go and you end up buying 40 isopropyl alcohols, unless you're a D-bag reseller, that's messed up. That's basically taking supplies that somebody else could use for regular day stuff. Even hydrogen peroxide is now getting to be a rare commodity, and that's first aid. Now first aid is being hit. So again, somebody who actually gets hurt needs that supplies, needs the supplies for a first aid case, can't get it. So I'm going to go over the news, and we're going to hit all of the news regarding that as well. I'm going to kind of try to, a couple stories, try to hit something a little bit different just so we don't get too down. I also want to pump you guys up. I also want to tell you guys that you don't have to fear. You don't have to panic. You can literally protect yourself against this with a few simple things. But most people don't want to do those few simple things. So, disaster. Deadly tornadoes shred 40 buildings in Nashville. Now, if you saw the footage of this, it looked absolutely horrendous. It says at least 7 people were grabbed by thy father on Tuesday as the 2 tornadoes touched down in central Tennessee, shredding about 40 buildings across Nashville area. Authorities pleaded with people to stay indoors at least until daybreak could reveal the dangers of a landscape littered with blown down walls and roofs, snapped power lines, and huge broken trees. Schools, courts, transit lines were closed, and 4 polling stations were moved only hours before Super Tuesday voting was set to begin. So, obviously, if you see the pictures and the videos of this, which we're going to post stuff on our website, you'll see that it was horrendous how fast it came in, and it took brick buildings. It literally, there's one picture that is pretty epic, actually. I believe I used it for one of my tweets and one of my thumbnails, is the top of the building. It was just boosh. And it was a brick building, a completely brick building. And there's a poster on it that essentially says, "Believe in Nashville." And it was like a sign or something. It was just nuts. Then you have a mysteriously glowing object suddenly appears in Earth's... I'm just going to start over. Mysterious glowing object suddenly appears in Earth's orbit, leaving scientists baffled. It says a mysterious glowing object which suddenly appeared in the Earth's orbit has left scientists baffled. Images of a puzzling object have been released after some speculated it appeared to be a new mini-moon. Now remember, we actually had news of a new mini-moon, so is this new mini-moon really a mini-moon, or is it a glowing nightstick from a rave out in space? We don't know, but what we do know is that there's a lot of weird stuff going on in space. Could this be Space Force? We don't know. Could this be a rock that has a new material or a new mineral that we've never heard of? Could it just be a satellite? Could it be, the Matrix breaking? Who knows? But it says earlier this week, the scientific community was abuzz when astronomers found a space rock. 2020 CD3 has actually been circling Earth for 3 years, which is funny because I reported about 8 months ago that, yes, we do have basically asteroids that come in and then start circling as a mini-moon because of the gravity, or at least that's what they say, supposedly. Supposedly, allegedly, you know what I mean. Scientists say that it is too soon to say for sure what the mystery object is, and further research is required. Some astronomers have suggested that it could be an artificial object, while others say it might be an old satellite, a glowing old satellite. Maybe it's a Russian nuclear one or something. It says, or space debris. And others say the object is a rocky asteroid, which means that it would be only the second natural satellite to be spotted around the Earth other than the moon. So that's pretty nuts. What do you think about it? Give us a call at 224-400-MARF. I would love to hear your opinion on what it is. Is it a UFO? Is it a spaceship that got dropped off by a Muamua? It doesn't matter. Give us a call at 224-400-MARF. Now we have Navy Instagram tells China, quote, "You don't want to play laser tag with us," after Pacific incident. If you don't know what I'm talking about, we talked about a plane, a huge plane, a Poseidon, that was hit by a Chinese laser. Now that Chinese laser was a weaponized one, and it was pretty freaking strong. It says that the Navy posted a photo depicting a laser show on one of China's South China Sea's bases, a reference to how common these incidents are. It says, meanwhile, in the South China Sea. So, I don't know why they, is this really, Dex, do you know if they're just using like a rave photo as reference? Is this Coachella? Like, what the heck is this? It shows a zoomed in like this is actually on the South China Sea naval base. Don't know. Maybe they just...
I think that's
a joke.
That's just an art.
Yeah, I wonder, like, the guy was looking through, like, Pixabay or something for free, copyright-free images, and was like, yeah, we'll just use a rave of everybody holding up their cell phones for the South China Sea. Don't know if that's too accurate, but it says the U.S. Navy's official Instagram account has issued a curious warning of sorts, informing the Chinese military that it does not want to play laser tag. It says with it in the future. This comes a day after reports emerged that a People's LAN destroyer had aimed a laser beam at Navy P-8A Poseidon maritime patrol aircraft flying in the Philippine Sea earlier this month. If you know anything about this, please give us a call at 224400-MARV.
And just to clarify, that picture was actually posted on the Instagram of U.S. Navy. That's not from the editorial of the article.
Wow, that's incredible. So they were really like poking fun at him, I guess. Now, it says that, of course, that scenario is going to play out further, and we'll see what's going on. Obviously, China's got their hands full. The whole world has their hands full. If you want to join our Discord, this is very important. We have a Creators Corner, a military group with over 400 active and retired military folks in there. You can actually join by going to marfooglenews.com. Not only that, that is where we're going to give you the alerts. Later, that will come into play. So remember that. The Marfoogle alerts that we email out, we don't blitz you. We normally, it's like once every 2 weeks, maybe every once in a month. And that alert is usually solid info or something regarding the channel. It's usually a serious thing. If it's not, it is for your benefit. And that, again, is at marfooglenews.com. The Creators Corner, we're gathering all these creators from all the platforms, and we're going to do a massive event. I know that a lot of you are like, what is it? Just wait. It's going to be massive. And then, of course, the threat of nuclear war between U.S. and Russia is now at its greatest since 1983, or apparently, according to this. It says, when the commander of NATO says he is a fan of flexible first strike at the same time that NATO is flexing its military muscle on Russia's border, the risk of inadvertent nuclear war is real. It says U.S. Air Force General Todd D. Walters told the Senate this week he is, quote, a fan of flexible first strike regarding NATO's nuclear weapons, thereby exposing the fatal fallacy of the alliance's embrace of American nuclear deterrence policy. So what do you think about this, Dex? Just to get your opinion on this real quick.
Well, it's a continuation of the story, right? We keep talking about the especially in the European theater, how tensions continue to rise there. So for, us to think that we're getting closer and closer, it's not unfathomable. It goes as far back as to when, Putin was showing off his hypersonic, projectiles there, and even the accident that they had, right? So it's the race is on, the treaties were pulled back. There's a lot of tension now back into places in the Middle East. Especially with NATO alliances, and we've got the European pressure that we had in the past. It's all just sort of coming to a head. So
obviously we're following it as close as we can. We're going to keep you updated as most as we can. Obviously, we have our military group too feeding us stuff, and actually most of our military group says that things are pretty calm right now because so many of the militaries are distracted with what is going on. Therefore, but that could be something that is compartmentalized that is not told. So that is one thing to be at ease about as far as what our military members are saying. Now, this is actually pretty crazy because I just said something about this on February 27th, I believe, and I said something about how one of the tests for that little pod, what was that pod called that exploded and they said it was an anomaly? I don't know if you remember the name of it, but it was...
I don't remember the name, but that was the pod that was specifically supposed to be carrying people.
Humans. Yeah.
Humans.
To carry humans to the moon or to the ISS. And what happened is it just completely exploded. It was like a like Diet Coke and Mentos, or Coca-Cola and Mentos. It just went boom. It just completely exploded. They said they had a slight anomaly. Then footage leaked out of what really happened, and it was basically a firecracker. The thing just went pop, and everybody kind of laughed about it. They're like, that's a little bit worse than a slight anomaly, especially since that's supposed to hold humans. Then I said something about that the night before, and it says SpaceX Starship SN1 prototype blows up during pressure test on its Texas pad. So there is a video of this. You can go to our website to see it. We're not going to get a copyright for this, but again, this is a pretty serious thing as far as if you are following this. Why would they? I know a lot of people say that they fake these things. This kind of feeds into that. It's like they can't even do one test every 3 months without it exploding. So I don't know. Let me give you your opinion.
Yeah, maybe they're just talking to the guys over at Tesla, and over there they actually crash cars into walls. So maybe they need to blow stuff up to make sure it works. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe they'll have. Didn't they load Crash Test Dummy, like a really fancy Crash Test Dummy, into one of these things? It was like a robot. It was an Android of
sorts. Lots of sensors.
Yeah, and it looked like a Crash Test Dummy. It says Republican megadonor buys stake in Twitter and seeks to oust Dorsey. Now, I don't think it'll be successful, but it says a major Republican donor has purchased a stake in Twitter and is reportedly seeking to oust its chief. Yeah, that's a good expression. Chief executive Jack Dorsey. Bloomberg News first reported that Elliott Management has taken a sizable stake and, quote, plans to push for changes at the social media company, including replacing Dorsey. So if you have an opinion on this, I would love to hear it. You can give us a call at 224-400-MARF. Is this a good thing, or is this all planned? If you would like to support us in another way, EMP Shield can actually protect you against an EMP or a CME. In fact, it will protect you against all three phases, E1, E2, and E3. This is actually one of the most serious things that I actually talk about, and it is something that we've been talking about for a year now. Just like this current situation, which we kind of showed you all of the World Health Organization's warnings. We showed you all the maps of what they kind of had planned and things like this. So as far as the EMP shield, that has more evidence than this did, because this actually had the president sign basically a huge treaty, not a treaty, a order to protect our grid. And that's because we had Homeland Security suggest that every single American should have 6 months to a year of food and water on hand in case we have a complete power outage. The thing is if this happened, it would take anywhere from 9 months to 2 years to get the grid back up. Now, some people would say, well, what good would this be if all of your devices work and you have no grid? Well, what I suggest is that you get one for your generator and at least your car if you plan to bug out. Because it doesn't matter if you have a generator and 20,000 gallons of gas. If it's fried, then it won't work. But if you have all three of these, then you will be set up. Especially those who have solar systems, this can protect those. Ham radios, if you plan to connect with people. You can't keep all of these things in a Faraday cage. Can you build a Faraday cage big enough for your entire house? Probably not. Instead, you can do what DOD does, what Homeland Security does, and what now the Texas Grid does, and get EMP Shield to protect you. In fact, they are officially part of the DEMSO team protecting the team. They're veteran-owned, and they're 100% made in America. In fact, they're handmade in Kansas. You can get these and multiples and even save $50 off per device by going to marfooglenews.com/EMP. Again, that's marfooglenews.com/EMP. A small portion of that goes to support broadcasts like this, and it will actually protect you. So it's a win-win for everyone. Now we have Twitter tells us all of its employees work at home because of this event. Now, by this event, I mean this event, which of course is now filtered. Twitter is asking its entire workforce of 5,000 people to work from home, part of an effort to keep employees safe and prevent the spread of the CV. It says the company said that working from home was mandatory, not voluntary, mandatory for its workers in Hong Kong, Japan, and South Korea, where there are higher rates of the disease. It says, quote, "We are working to make sure internal meetings, all hands, and other important tasks are optimized for remote participation," which again is something we've talked about with local schools. If you don't know me and this is your first time tuning in, I am in Washington and all of the schools are shutting down, including my own family's schools. So this is affecting us way too close to home. In fact, it's literally slapping us in the face. So this is kind of a big thing, but I guess if you are at Twitter, you could pretty much do your entire job from home, and I'm assuming they already have it set up to be remote, cloud, and everything else. So top U.S. doctor says that now it is possibly a pandemic. Now, this is what we've been saying for a month. Whether you believe it's true or not, that's what they're calling it. And that, once they say that, it's a big deal. And once they say that, your local stores will be emptied. So you can go into this in detail. You can actually go onto marfooglenews.com. You can read this. Again, these things are what is getting people shut down. Now, it says tensions rise as U.S. toll from the event is reaching 9. And guess where all of those are? This is out of Seattle, out of the Associated Press. It says tensions over how to contain the fast-spreading CV escalated Tuesday in the United States as the death toll climbed to 9, and lawmakers expressed doubts about the government's ability to ramp up testing fast enough to deal with the crisis. Now, that was a big thing. We talked about how they were testing, and there's actually, just to show you, this is the craziest part. So I'm going to go back to this. This is a lady who is on here. Somebody tweeted this to me, and thank you. If I pull up your tweet, I'm going to thank you for this. It is a new hashtag that is actually trending, which is surprising because they basically grabbed all of the other ones and said, we're putting this at the bottom of the pile. Let's see here. So let's go to the profile. Let's go to tweets. Basically, this hashtag is on the top, and it's all talking about how this lady told about how she said that this is what she said. It says, I live in Seattle. I have all the symptoms of the virus and have a history of chronic bronchitis. Since I work in a physical therapy clinic and with many 65 plus patients and those with chronic illnesses, I decided to be responsible and go to get tested. This is how that went. Now, I'm going to let you read most of this, but I will say that essentially she called, was on hold for 40 minutes and gave up. It says, so I looked at the CDC and the Washington Public Health websites. They told me to see a primary care doctor, called 2 doctors. They said, I don't know what to do. And then they called urgent care. They had no idea where the tests are, but told me to call the hospital. Called the hospital. They do not have tests, but transferred me to the hotline to, quote, answer my questions. Since I was transferred on a medical provider line, I actually got through. Progress. It says the lady with the hotline was very kind and professional and understood my concern about my own health and those at the clinic, which is currently being sanitized. However, I was told that I do not qualify for testing, and I was not given a timeline or info on current resources. And then goes over. So who does qualify? Those who have been out of the country in the last 14 days. Now, we learned that this was a big mistake in other places. Why did we do this? It says, and those who have had contact with one or of the few people who have been tested and come up positive. That's it. Is that just nuts or what? So the only way that she can get treated is if the symptoms get so bad I develop pneumonia or bronchitis. Wow. So obviously went through this actually, and then down here she goes, F. Didn't realize there was a hashtag for just little old me. Check out above thread. Hashtag CVS, which is this in, boom. Once you go to this, you'll actually see it is a huge, this got over 100,000 retweets, I believe, by now. And then it has an entire thing. This is actually trending, which, of course, they've got this up here. And, of course, it's going to be kind of reduced or switched around here in a minute. Because this just happened today, or yes, last night. So if you look at this, it says coworker went to urgent care yesterday with nasty flu symptoms after being just fine on Friday. Couldn't talk without coughing, fever, sweats, and the whole 9 yards. Asked if they were testing for it. Wait for the answer. Nope. So obviously, and the thing is they say that this is what they say is all of these people were walking around and it got way out of hand and they realized this. So check this out. This is the downtown Target in downtown Seattle. This is exactly what I'm talking about. They said, oh, this is a normal Saturday. This is normal. Nothing's happening. Again, I'm not trying to get you to be scared. I'm trying to say if you do have a place and you're the one commenting saying, my store has everything, then grab some stuff. Spend, $40 on at least kind of the things that are going, negative and get it. Because people like us are going to be driving out there to get it because of this fear or this panic. Is the fear or the panic necessary? Probably not. But it doesn't mean that people are going to listen to the few comments you leave saying, oh, why do you care about it? This is the thing. I'm telling you, this could be the big bad wolf. And if it is, why the heck are we not preparing? What's even weirder, I just saw, I've been saying this all week, and then I just saw a brand new ad by a COPD commercial showing the big bad wolf, literally a grandpa, and it switches in between of him wearing a cartoon of him being the big bad wolf and not being able to blow the house down because he can't breathe. I just thought it was very creepy. I can't show it to you for copyright reasons, but you might know exactly the commercial. This, I just want to show. Here's my way of reducing panic. Okay? We're just going to play this for about 35 seconds. We're going to zoom in. And we're going to just make sure that everybody feels okay. Okay?
But they just can't see. They love the Marfoogle family, but they just can't see.
All right, I'm done. Just had to add that in there because this is how people are looking at me. That's how I feel. But again, I am in the middle of the hot zone. It is that crazy here, and the people are panicking, regardless of what this is. And I keep spreading. I keep spreading the word that it does not matter what you think of this. It is going to go to all of your peers, and what are your peers going to do? They are going to snatch things up. They're going to prepare. They're going to be afraid. So even if you're the most bravest soul and you're sitting there, I'm Superman, I could never be affected. Oh, we don't have to worry about these. All these fools wearing masks, which, by the way, tons and tons of people are out there saying don't wear one. In fact, local doctors said don't. You're actually making it worse. All of these other things. So my daughter told me again. The science teacher said to take it off to the one kid that was in her class. Then she went to a different class. There was like 4 kids wearing. So obviously, maybe even that kid has a paranoia of it, or the parents. This is 8th grade. So in 8th grade. Obviously, the teacher should not have the right to tell them not to wear a medical mask, my just personal opinion, even if it's absurd, right? But again, they said that to take it off, and they said that it just makes you look dumb, and I thought that was kind of offensive, actually. And she said that people are not actually making fun of people, which I cannot believe. I have heard some of the stories from her school and about how they make fun of kids. Nobody's making fun of the kids with masks. That's what I thought was unique, is that these kids are thinking like, why didn't my mom give me one? So obviously, are they right? Are they wrong? It doesn't matter. It's still what is going on. So let's see here. Yeah, so it's a big deal. If you guys want to support us in a different way, you can, of course, get earthing products. I honestly don't know if this would help with this current situation, but I do know it's helped me with my sleep. It's helped me with my digestive system. If you don't know what it is, you should highly be recommended to go to marfooglenews.com/GT and watch the earthing movie. It's got 25 medical studies behind it. All of these products end up helping the channel. And not only that, people have been doing this for decades. Anybody in the Foogle family, when I do pull this up, make sure to tell people if you do it, and tell people if it works, because personally it changed my sleep schedule. I used to do my shows. I still had 2,000 people watching at 3-4 in the morning because there were East Coast people drinking their coffee, but that was a sign of me not being able to sleep. I still have problems with my sleep, but it's way better, and I'm able to actually function during the day because I sleep on one of the mats. What it does is it plugs into the wall and it actually grounds you. Somebody who is barefoot on earth and somebody with rubber sole shoes, which, funny enough, we made them out of rubber, is completely blocked from being grounded. You can actually test them, and somebody who is grounded barefoot will sit there and it will buzz because they are grounded, and then somebody with shoes, it won't. And then when that person with shoes touches the grounded person, they will be grounded. If you think about it, our nervous system is electrical. Our brain is electricity. They literally use electricity to shock our heart because it is electric. So why are we not grounding ourselves? It decreases inflammation, which is the basis of basically all of these different things. Pain and stress. It even increases attention span in autistic
in autistic children and especially autistic people. So, which, as you guys know, I have plenty of experience with. I have my nephew who is autistic and I take care of. So again, I would highly recommend it. It does help. I would go to marfooglenews.com/earthing. It also helps the channel. Then we have the CV Florida. Again, this popped up out of nowhere. People in Florida were like, now we have it. Mother and son at Sarasota Military Academy under quarantine. Says they are not showing any symptoms of it, but came in contact with a patient who had, who the CDC now says tested positive. The school says. Now, where we see this locally here, one of the children at the high school had it, and then they started cleaning all the high schools. I mean, this is crazy. There was one student, and they say it was just one, but then all of a sudden they have 45 schools on a cleaning regimen, and it just kind of makes you think. If you know somebody here, or if you know one of these people, give us a call. The biggest problem right now that I see is people saying, I don't know anybody personally that does it. Do you? And they ask and says, well, no. And the same kind of logic works for people that say, space doesn't exist. Have you been to space? I haven't. I can't argue either way. Nobody can argue either way. But now I can. We're local. And as you know, even in big cities, it's kind of a small world. You see people, you walk down the street, you see somebody you were in, middle school with or whatever. We know people now that at least are quarantined. And now we know somebody who is now passed through a family friend. So this is all stuff you can learn from Facebook. Go on your Facebook. If you know somebody who is actually being locked away, let us know about it. We've had plenty of family members say, in fact, one of our mods had their neighbor quarantined, man in his 70s. So we've had plenty of people now say, we know people, but nobody's going to believe that person because they're not going to see it themselves. That's fine. But what I would recommend is in the back of your head, if you want to, spit that out publicly, just secretly go do your thing and grab some stuff. Even if you want to hate as much as you want on everybody else, just silently go get some stuff just in case. That's what we're talking about, just in case. I do have to mention too, I'm working on the Cascadia subduction zone stuff. And that's another subject that takes back burner when this is all going on. The West Coast is literally waiting on one of the biggest earthquakes in the world. And somebody could say, oh, now you're throwing this at us. I'm telling you guys, this is something that the military expected years ago. And it's something that they are preparing for, they're drilling for. Some of the biggest drills we've ever done in the West Coast, period, are now being done. So please, prepare for an earthquake. It is survivable. It's actually one of the few things that it's like if you do some basic preparement, you can actually get through. And then we have the surreal scene inside of... Go ahead,
Adam. This mother and child. The story behind this is that the son goes. The mother was in contact with somebody, I think through her work that had CV. The son was a cadet, and Pence was at that location. And it's potential that the other cadets were around. Pence was there shaking hands with the cadets. So the question now is, did Pence was he potentially in a position where he was able to contract CV through this exposure? Now they're saying it didn't happen, but that's how close this kind of stuff comes together.
Well,
and that's what they were talking about.
I think
here.
Part of the big thing is everybody's saying that it's just so public, like the the P-Man, Mr. Man in Rome, the Mr. Francis there. They said, he all of a sudden had it. They said that this is happening because they want big, huge public figures to have it, so then they can say, well, anybody can have it, right? I don't know. What I do know is that I'm in this hot zone with the surreal scene inside of America's hot zone. So this is at this life care center. You obviously have all of these people, and look at the masks they're using. These are not even N95. Some of them are. It looks like some of them are, but just so you know, this same center, 25 firefighters are now being looked at and monitored because they all responded to different things without gear on. So this is the local Kirkland Life Care Center, I believe is what it's called, and it's a nursing home. Now almost half of the perished are from this location. It says Kirkland, Washington, across the street from the Life Care Center, the nursing home where several residents have succumbed to the 2019 CV. Judy Ramsdell on Monday braved the rain to toss a handful of recyclables into a large green bin. At 75, Ramsdell is a similar age to some of those of her nursing home neighbors who have fallen ill with the CV. That has emerged from, of course, we know where it came from, or we think we do, and infected roughly 90,000 people worldwide, killing 3K. It says including 6 inside the United States. It says, I'm healthy. Unfortunately, some of those people are not so lucky, said Ramsdell, who wore a puffy gray jacket and short gray hair. I love how they do the stupid... Are you writing a book, man? Nodding to the facility, my concern is for the people over there, the workers and patients and families who want to visit. I'm sad to see this happen to them. 4 residents of the nursing home, all in their 70s and 80s, had perished of the D's on Monday afternoon, local time. 3 more residents and an employee remained hospitalized. A total of 18 cases had been confirmed across Washington state, including 2 other deaths, with most confirmed infections located in Kirkland and other communities around Seattle. Now, another thing to point out, a lot of people are going around Twitter, people are saying that, bringing up the subject of Social Security and how our Social Security is running out. That somebody could say you're wearing your tinfoil hat on, but it was definitely interesting to look into it. By 2035, they say that they are going to reduce the benefits for people. Essentially, they say that SS is actually running out of money. So all that stuff that we put into, they say that fund is growing smaller and smaller, so they can't support. People are living longer than ever before, and that's not a good thing financially. That's what the saying is. So go into that rabbit hole if you feel like it. We're not going to cover it here. It says, if I do get CV, I'm attending every MAGA rally I can. That is messed up. It says Denver councilwoman quotes solidarity to tweet. So I got to be careful with this, but this is absolutely insane. So this is a Denver councilwoman, Candy Kadebeka, is getting major blowback over a controversial tweet sent on Friday. She quoted, says, for the record, if I do get it, I'm attending every MAGA rally I can. This is kind of like the videos we see coming out of C, where the people, they get it, which the best people that described this were my friends Ben and Rob at Edge and Wonder. They actually did a really great series, 1, 2, and 3, and they're on the same page as me. They talked about the actual Chinese government, and they actually talked about stuff that they knew about, especially Ben and Rob. They even did stuff. They have tons of connections. They have tons of people that they talk to. They talked about kind of the situation over there and how the communist system works. It's equality, right? Or that's what is kind of pushed, that everybody gets the same. And when something good happens, it should happen in the same order, right? But when something bad happens, they feel everyone else should have it too. So you see all these videos of their attitude is totally different over there, of people literally coughing on elevator buttons and things like this, and doing it on purpose, so everybody else suffers through the same thing. So whether people want to say this is not a thing or not, go look at the now hundreds of thousands of videos that have been released. In fact, BitChute has a compilation that basically could be shown nowhere else. If you are missing notifications for our show, I highly recommend signing up for our notifications. This little red bell here is what you will see on our website. When you go to marfooglenews.com, you will see it say subscribe. Click on it and it will ask you if you want notifications. What this does is it will actually push it, just like the little top bars that pop up on your phone. It will say Marfoogle News is live, or Marfoogle News just put out an alert, or Marfoogle News did this. It works with most all browsers in Android. iOS is coming soon. Look for the prompt and click the bell in the bottom right corner. Otherwise, if you're on a regular browser at home, it might be a little white box that says Marfoogle News would like to send you notifications. Say allow. I know that I even turn down a lot of those asks because it's a one-off. I'm like going to a website to check an article. It says, this person would like to send you notifications. I say, hell no. But on this hand, if you watch every night and you're missing notifications and saying that you're not getting it for a week, click that thing and click it fast. And then, of course, we have concerns about U.S. military supply chains and readiness grow as the event spreads. It says the Pentagon says that it's taking steps to mitigate these issues and that, so far, the CV has had minimal impacts on American forces. Apparently because they're all wearing Bubble Boy suits, which actually, this is a pretty badass bubble. It says top Pentagon officials have said that the fallout from the spread has not impacted U.S. military supply chains, but there are growing concerns that it could in the near futures. Worries that it could do the readiness of American forces abroad and at home are mounting as the virus continues to spread. This was, of course, now it's updated. It's like every couple hours we're getting some sort of update on this. So we will let you know. Again, that concludes the news. We are going to open up the phones. If you would like to support us in a different way and something that actually protects you from a lot of the digital viruses that are out there, you should go with NordVPN. It's one of the most advanced VPNs out there. And if you don't know what that is, it's a virtual private network. Of course, you can go to marfooglenews.com/VPN to find out more. But what this does is it essentially blocks your IP from the bad guys. In fact, it makes it so they can't data log, and it actually supplies protection up to 6 devices. It's 24/7 support, and again, this is something that all of us have to deal with. If you've worked hard for your credit score, if you've worked hard to keep your life private, keep it that way and do a VPN. Some people use it for even absurd things, which I think is pretty funny. They go in different countries so they can get different Netflix videos. In fact, people didn't know that Netflix actually releases different things in different countries. So stuff like that can work. But this is also how people in China have been getting things out. Megan, our good friend who came on the show and the stream was cut from the internet, like my literal internet was cut. She came on, and she came on through a VPN. She is in one of the lockdown zones. So the people that don't believe, go back and look at that show. It's pretty nuts. She told us all about the apps they have. She showed, she's been doing videos of what's going on, the sanitization that's happening 3, 4, 5 times a day. So it's pretty nuts. Also, you can support Megan. They're trying to get her out of China right now. She needs financial support as well. So if you are already subscribed, head over and check her out and, do what you can. Especially the cool part about DLive is it's decentralized. It's the coolest platform for people that are overseas. If you support her, it goes to her instantly. It's not like it, takes for weeks and weeks and weeks, or you don't have to go through a lot of loops. That is an amazing thing about DLive. It is decentralized, and you can send essentially crypto to that person instantly. As far as that goes, you can follow me on Twitter at Marfoogle. I have been posting videos here first. We're also going to be putting some of the other stuff on different platforms that we have. You can also support us through Patreon. You can also support us through our Amazon link down below. Of course, that is an affiliate link. If you end up buying something through that link, it will end up supporting the show in just a tiny bit. It doesn't cost you anything extra, and it helps us. Okay, so just to make sure, again, as you know, all of the callers are their own opinions. Dex, I'm going to head over to the DLive stream here, and I'm going to say hi to them. And then, of course, I'm going to go over the YouTube people as well. So let's see here. Bam, bam. Looks like we have the consistent 3.4 thousand. Bam. Karma is here. What is going on? Man, thank you guys for the support. There's obviously some people in here. Sweet Melissa, thank you. That's huge. In fact, I've never seen your name on this, as far as on this board, so thank you for coming out of nowhere. Pat Leading Fox is second with 3.3 thousand lemons. PDO07 with 1.9. Richie the Fam at 1.8. And Jamie O'Lynn. I probably missed some folks. We're actually trying to get together systems so we can not miss them and they can actually be on the tickers. Stormy Weather, thank you for the diamond. I appreciate that. Debbie Jordan, thank you. Hi, Marf, Dex, and Mods. God bless you guys. Dottie V, Sutley, thank you guys. Stormy752, Smack13, Stormy7572. Jesse Lynn says, woot woot. Kat says hi. Marcus Racing Realtor, aloha from Maui. I'm praying for you guys too. If you ever get stuff over there, it's kind of hard to hide on an island. Sean Wan, I love that. Sean Wan, thank you so much. Says go Chiefs. Sunshine B, Red Butterfly, Obey 777, La Shell, GCW, thank you. Enchanted Bayou, thank you so much. All Crazy, James Huff, Curly Q. Blue Rose says, hello, Foogle fam. I just got a meter cover through your site today, Marv, says Kapuczynski. Thank you so much. Again, that protects you from the actual meter, all of the bad stuff coming through your meter. And then, of course, you got Green Eyed Girl. Adam, you look nice tonight. The show is not moving along here, though. Thank you. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And JK Hath, Marf, what about Russia volcano erupting? Supposedly just happened. Dex, can we look at the Russian volcano? If you have breaking news, make sure to put it in the chat. One of our mods can connect us. Speaking of mods, thank you, mods, for holding it down. I really appreciate all of you guys. Jamie Lynn, thank you. Says you said my name right. You're awesome. Jamie Lynn. Jamie Lynn? I think I'm saying it right. That's a pretty name. I've never heard that. Debbie Jordan, thank you. Allow the Magic. Kitty Marie, N Golden 003. I can't give you one. It says I want a sub. I tried and it won't. So, April Osborne, thank you for modding. Jay Stone, if you're here. CJ Blaze, if you're here. Bones, if you're here. Rip Curl, if you're here. LCJC family, if you're here. Carolyn on the Bay, thank you. Saw a clip on YouTube of an older man eating soup from a lady at Whole Foods. Don't know what that has to do with it, but it's probably I need some context. Have y'all voted, by the way? Pillsbury Doughboy, Saved by Jesus, JD Bell, and Sneasel, King's X, Elise 1. Oh, and a big shout out to King's Report. Make sure to check him out. I don't know if he's here tonight. Just wanted to say what's up. The Ugly Zhu, I can't even say your name on some platforms. He's a good creator here. If he's live, we might send you guys his way. All right, Jason, thank you for being here. Earthworm Jim, Equine Prepper, he's a good channel too. Alaskan Prepper, he doesn't come in the chat, but he is a good channel. Jacob Israel, if you have not seen him on YouTube, I'm trying to get him over to D Live. Honestly, if you guys don't know, a lot of people had their thoughts about D Live in the beginning, and you may not like the system exactly. They're still working on it, and they're still making it better, but I do see an amazing potential, and once they merge, it's going to be huge. So I highly recommend for creators to come over here. I'll actually personally help you guys. I'll host people. Baker Babe, thank you. Hope for tomorrow. Again, I'm not trying to, I want to let people know, like we're trying to let you know, get your stuff before the panic and the fear kicks in your city. It's very, very easy to go and get this stuff, especially if it hasn't hit your state yet. Even if it was completely manufactured, it's not going to change how people react to it. Darlene Awake, I appreciate it. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the chat in the very end. Google this for who's not being tested. Update and interim guidance on the Outbreak. Ariana M, love you guys. Keep up the good work. Thank you so much. Tony60. Okay, I'm going to stop you guys. So if you do something, I'll try to get to it later. Thank you, Richie fam, for gifting a 1-month sub. Cat K, thank you for receiving one. Thank you guys for all of the Marfia badges. The Marfia badge actually means your subs. You get special perks at 1 month and 3 months. You actually get different colored stuff. James Huff, thank you guys. Appreciate it. Okay. Dex, let's get the phones rolling here. Looks like we have American Patriot Party is a first-time caller, and it says Texas woman tests positive for CV a day after release of isolation. All right, so let's pull them up. Okay. First, I guess it is 11 Pagan 11. 11 Pagan 11, you are live on Marfoogle News. What is going on?
Hey, Adam. How's it going?
Good. Let me just fix your sound real quick. I think I blew everybody's eardrums out. So now it says you have an update on the ports. Now try to be careful, Pagan. I know you're a creator yourself, and make sure to check out her channel. I will pull your stuff up, and we'll add you on the website as well. What's going on?
Awesome. Well, through Discord, we've been talking with Overland Rob, and actually this information is coming from him. So I just wanted to let everybody know that this isn't Overland Rob gave me this information to share with you guys. He has a friend that has a family friend that works at the port in Los Angeles, at the NLA, in Long Beach, and he works there, and he found out that very soon they are going to stop receiving shipments. So everybody needs to not panic, but we need to head to the stores and get what we need, because there's good word that the ports are going to be, the Los Angeles Long Beach port is going to be shut down soon. There was not a date given. We're still trying to find that information, but it's being shut down.
Wow. Okay. So now the crazy part is I know Overland Rob. Overland Rob is extremely smart. Overland Rob actually, he designs his own battery packs. Like, this guy's a genius in his own right. He is part of our California group.
Yes,
I'm assuming that's why BOD is calling in as well. They do the in-person meetings with him normally. Overland Rob has actually run a bunch of our in-person meetings. Again, if you don't know, we actually do meetings like that all the time. And then I'm just trying to see here. It looks like we are getting a...
Yeah, I'm not able to go to those meetings, so I actually call into those meetings.
Now, just 1 second. It looks like something is going on here. Let's see here. Okay, now it finally changed. For some reason, it was stuck on our keynote of the disclaimer. So just want to make sure everybody sees this. I'm going to pull up. Again, you guys can go to our website and follow all of this stuff. So I don't know if we've had Overland Rob on physically. I know I've Skyped with these guys. I've done in-person meetings with them. What is going on right now in California is really bad, which is, my wife asked, why are we the hot zone when California had like 8,000 people? It kind of shows you that, I think that it's, a lot of stuff is not being said, essentially. So that is a crazy update, Pagan. I appreciate that.
Yeah, and just to let you know that we lost, we didn't lose him, but he moved to, I believe it is, I want to say Arizona. He moved. He's not in California anymore.
Oh, you mean Overland Rob did?
Yeah, Overland Rob, he moved.
Oh, that's too bad.
I assume maybe that's why he didn't call. I assume that's why he maybe didn't call in with the information, because he's busy with moving and stuff. But he is out of state, and he also sent me pictures on Discord. Oh, go ahead, hon.
Nothing. You guys lost a great member there. Well, can you actually?
Yeah, we really did.
So is there one more thing you want to say before you go? And those pictures, are they something that we can share on the show? Can you send it to us later?
Yeah, I can send. I'm not sure if you can show them right now. But I'll send it to Dex. It's just about the water supply in Hillsboro, Oregon. That was at Costco. That there's no water. Well, the water is like normally stacked to the wall, and it's maybe like one shelf high now of water, and that's happening. And because he traveled through states, because he's moving.
And that's in Oregon,
a lot
with
of places,
one case.
Yes, and here, yes, yeah, and over here in our Visalia Walmart, there's no more hand sanitizer or anything like that. So, yeah, stuff is going away everywhere. It's, you know, supplies are dwindling everywhere.
Yeah, and I told people this, and obviously the same people that commented on Saturday are probably like, holy moly, like this is not exactly great. So thank you for calling in, Pagan 11. I appreciate you, and please keep in contact and call us again, okay?
Yes, I sure will, hon. You all have a good night.
All right, you too. So that was 11 Pagan 11. On deck is American Patriot Party. American Patriot Party, since you can't hear me, just make sure to be safe with this. And you are now live on Marfoogle News.
Good evening, Foogle fam.
So,
first, I'd just like to say thank you, Marf and Dex and Foogle fam, for helping to keep us alert here. You helped me to alert a lot of people several days before anything was even talked about mainstream. So thank you.
well, hey, can I say something? As far as people saying that MSM is saying this, have you not heard several of these things before MSM? I mean, I covered things. I went physically there. I'm not trying to brag, but they weren't talking about it until we got the word out on a lot of this. Not, I mean, we're not the reason, but us and other independent things. It's like once the word gets out so big, then they have to cover stuff. People think that it literally 100% of MSM is fake. They can't do that. They can spin it, they can exaggerate it, they can twist it, but they can't, you know, it's very rare that they get caught actually just putting...
hide it, correct.
Yeah, exactly. So, and then you sent a article here. It says Texas woman tests positive for this a day after release from isolation.
Right. So this past weekend, a lot of folks are receiving tax returns. There was a lot of folks out shopping at the malls. This woman they're speaking of, she had 2 test samples that came back negative. There was a third that they hadn't received, but they figured they could go ahead and release her because the other 2 were negative. Well, that third one popped up positive, and she was walking around at North Star Mall this weekend. Now, that being a tax weekend or whatever, you know, tax return weekend, the malls were packed. I was at one of them, and, you know, my mind was blown. I can only imagine that people were going from one mall to the next, looking for deals, so on and so forth. Unfortunately, as I sit today, I spent the whole day in the hospital with my wife and daughter. My 2-year-old is sick. Doctors are saying they can't track down what's causing the 102, almost 103 fevers. They won't break. Nothing seems to be kicking these fevers yet. We're staying optimistic. Prayers are much needed and welcome. They did mention the Kawasaki disease, and that has been eliminated already. They've done the nasal swab, came back negative. Blood work has come back all normal. They've done a urine sample, a EKG. You know, nothing's popping up yet. So you can imagine we're all kind of at the edge of our seats and nervous, you know. But
so I would ask
thanks to the Marfoogle family.
So I would ask that
you know, we did.
No, go ahead.
Yes, sir. You know, I just want to say, you know, I've been listening to y'all for a long time, and I've actually managed to turn a few people onto your channel, and we got a good little network going, you know, just here alone. But just being able to have that foreknowledge ahead of time helped us to prepare. Some might call me, you know, a little out there, like most have been called on this topic, but you know, I've got teenagers anywhere from 18 to 2 years old, and you know, it's all about the babies. Doesn't matter how old they get.
Well,
we want to protect them.
So I would just ask, if I can, real quick, I'm just going to say a quick prayer for you. In Jesus' name, please, I'm praying for American Patriot and his daughter and his family to get better and to get a very quick and effective response about what is going on with his daughter, and I'm praying for you, and I hope that the entire Foogle family also prays for you. I don't care what anyone else thinks. I hope that that in Jesus' name that you and your entire family get over this very quickly. I'm praying for you. I am honestly hurt when I hear any child. As you know, I have a 6-month-old and a 5-year-old and a 14-year-old, and I'm just absolutely crushed to hear that the little one has something and they can't figure it out. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen, brother.
Thank
you.
Always hurts me to say that, and I know if there's anything that was going to work, it's the thousands of people that are saying amen right now. So, well, is there one more thing you would like to say before you go?
I just want to send a special shout out to my wife who's there with her tonight, Marf, if you don't mind, buddy.
Absolutely.
I want to thank my wife. She's the backbone of this family. She's the strong one. You know, I'm just the enforcer here, playing a hard role. And I just want to thank her for being so strong and holding up this family.
So I would like to pray for you and your daughter and for your wife. I hope if you ever watch this, I just hope you know that a lot of people are looking out for you and a lot of people are praying. Now, of course, you know, the medical system doesn't always have the answer,
yes,
so I hope something higher than that does. You have a wonderful night, and I appreciate you, and I'm praying for you, okay?
Thank you. God bless you all.
All right,
Good
God
night.
bless you as well. That always hurts me to hear when children are affected. And like he said that she was tested and it was negative, so it's something else. So I would ask that all of you guys, whatever your way of talking to your higher power, just ask that they heal very quickly. Next up, we have BOD. I'm going to pull BOD here in. BOD, you are live on Marfoogle.
Hey, Marf, love you.
Hey, how are you?
Hello, Bob. How are you?
So is this is BOD and Shannon? You guys are out based out of California as well. You guys often run or are a part of our physical groups that meet in every state. You guys have been at multiple meetings. You guys are preppers. If you did not know, we have over 13,000 in our Discord that actually meet in person normally. So I'd like to ask.
Oh, we don't meet normally. About us.
Yeah, there's nothing normal about you, but you do meet. Shannon is a comedian. He's hilarious. But yeah, go ahead. And Shannon, by the way, is the husband.
Yeah. I know 11 Pig and 11 just called right now. Hi, 11 Pig and 11. Love you.
Hey, Pig.
Anyways, we just Overland. He moved to Oregon, so they are so lucky that they're getting an awesome guy over there, and he's ready to start groups over there. But we're not letting him go that quick. We're still going to have him run ours, but he's going to do it from afar. And
well, he co-runs it.
He co-runs it. We help. We're just his assistant.
Yeah. Okay.
And he'll never say that he's in charge of anything. But
are you talking about Roadside Rob?
Stop.
Sorry.
So anyways, we're gonna have him do. You mentioned Zoom on one of your videos, so we're gonna try to set up a meeting for the second, or for not the second, the second week. Will be next. What is it? Well, I'm trying to think right now. Next Saturday, we're gonna set up a meet, but we're gonna do it through Zoom, like you suggested.
Yeah, and I just think it's smart, even if it was just totally made up. I mean, there's no reason really not to just take a simple. I mean, that's what most of the groups do is prep, and in a case like this, since we don't have all the answers, I think it's smart to do that. You guys have a lot of gear too. You explained to everybody that, you know, how did the Foogle family meetings usually go?
Well, we've met at pizza places a couple times. We meet at parks. We've actually planned on a meetup area
if we needed to bug out, and different ways to get in touch with each other.
One of the funniest things is like when we first called in and I did the Darth Vader impression, and then the first meetup we had, they had like a little Darth Vader in the coffee shop. I'm like, oh, okay, this was meant to be.
No way.
I'll have no milk, please.
So it was, I miss Rob. I mean, we got the pleasure of going out with them a couple of days before they left, and
the only time we've really left the house to do anything.
Yeah, we're not leaving the house really at all unless we have to go to the market, and even then we're wearing our masks and gloves and everything else.
And somebody needs to tell the guy in charge not to have any rallies right now, because that's really detrimental to people's health. I think that's one of the most horrible things he could do.
Well, yeah. I mean, people are, half the people, though, are saying, hey, it's we're not going to let this stop us and we're going to do this. What if that was there to affect,
He's putting himself in danger as well. And if something was to happen to him, what's going to happen to us?
I just hugged my friend who has a cold.
Stop.
Well, by the way, you guys, if you think about it, do you remember? You guys have watched for a long time. I've been talking about this. Did I not mention this specific scenario? I mean, did I not talk about this before November? I mean, we talked about this.
Yeah. In fact, we've even come up with the scenarios from before, and I've looked into some of the like we have we have a UPS, a military UPS, and I looked up even the maker of it, and they have tents, and they have on their website they have several different scenarios if something was to happen, why they would use those tents to separate people or to decontaminate. They have the whole setup, and I started to go and investigate on that stuff a little bit and see what was. And this was a while back, a couple of years ago. I started looking into this stuff, and
I was always hoping to bug out. I mean, with guns ablazing and all that. But now, I mean, this is just boring.
It's not boring. People are dying.
That is bad. That's very bad.
And
were you saying last night or the night before that Seattle compared to Italy, it's like a 33% fatality rate?
I think it might be higher now because of the 9, and that's using the official numbers. So however many cases they've positive tested, along with Italy, the positive and the amount of people who have perished. Yeah, they said at one point it was 33%, and then very well maybe if it was 9 out of 14 or whatever, that would be more than that actually.
Yeah, actually, much more. But
you have to consider that there's probably thousands that are actually, they actually have it. They just haven't tested yet. And did you see the story? You guys could listen in. How's the new system, by the way? I know that you guys liked the old song, but you guys could listen to the show.
I've been trying to get a hold of you for days.
Yeah, we haven't been able to call in, but honestly, a lot of times we'll watch on YouTube and we'll text because we know you're in there. But we've been catching the shows, but it's not as much live.
Yeah, it's a little bit more difficult. And
it feels very weird being on D-Live, but I like it.
I'm telling you guys, this is the future, hopefully.
Yeah.
Anyways, we wanted to say over here in California, the masks and the hand sanitizers were gone like the day after they announced the
like 2 weeks,
virus.
3 weeks ago.
And yeah, the day after they were gone. We went to several stores, gone.
And today I took my mother to a pharmacy or a drugstore, and we were wearing our masks, and people were looking at us like we were crazy until like 3 or 4 more people walked in there, and then some vatos go, "Hey, Holmes, where'd you get the mask? Hey, I need to get one for me, Holmes." And I told them, got it online.
I got mine months ago because of the fires. I got those to protect us in case a fire happens.
The Paradise, of course.
Protect our lungs. Yes, and that's when I got them, and I got them from China, of course, and what really sad, everything comes from China. It's like, maybe this country will start to realize, hey, we need to start building up our stuff here.
No more 99-cent Elmo stores.
No more, we need to do it here, because if something like this happens again, and if it's even worse, we're screwed. We're screwed. And so people need to start building up. You want to start business, start it here.
Exactly.
Build it here. Build up this country. and depend on each other.
It'll be like a rotten apple.
Yeah, and so yeah, we went out. We've I think we went shopping yesterday or whatever, but we're pretty much stocked up, and we haven't been really leaving the house at all. We even made my daughter quit her job.
We're gonna Starbucks. I'm like, no, you're not gonna deal with the public and come back here and bring that
just
stuff
started
home.
a new job, and she's so excited, and I feel so bad.
Yeah, I had to be the bad guy on that one, but I wasn't gonna have her dealing with
Wait a
hundreds of
second,
thousands
you
of people
guys.
every day. And
How old is she? Is she?
She's
23,
22,
And-
23, something like that.
You guys said quit your job. That's huge.
yeah,
Yes, or she's got to go
yeah,
because
one or the other. I'm not gonna have
His-
the whole family die because of something like
So
that.
are you
That's
gonna
just
help?
for a part-time
Are you
job.
helping her
My-
financially
my
though? Then
mother-in-law.
are you?
Yeah,
guys-
yeah, we're paying for
Yeah, we're
Well,
having
you're
to
putting
just
her up for
wing it.
free,
bare
right?
bones and
You're putting her up for free,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. No, I
we
get
are
it.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But she has saved up though, so which is good.
yeah.
She was gonna get a car, so she has money saved
We're
up.
covering her phone bill and all that stuff. So
Well,
But yeah, so she's upset with us, of course, and she's not down with this. But you know what? Hey,
although coming up soon, it would be a good time for armed robbers because everybody's going to be wearing a mask, and you say, "It's the guy in the mask." Who what?
don't say that online.
I'm just kidding. You know, I'm just kidding.
But,
so
it's-
if you guys don't know Shannon he's a compulsive joker. I think you could.
Yeah, definitely.
You would literally be in a life or death situation, and you'd be like, death. You're not as tall as I thought you'd be.
Mark, my luck is so bad. I bought a bulletproof vest, and a midget came up behind me and shot me in the butt. That's how bad my luck is, Mark. I'm telling you right now.
Well, you guys are great. I wanna get together with you guys soon, okay? And I appreciate you guys calling in.
No, we hope.
So you're still coming down, right? This month or next month?
Well, we're not going to Disneyland anytime soon, so.
Please stay
Oh,
safe.
man. Yeah.
Please stay safe, Marv. We've seen you out there, and we're like, oh, you just went across the street from the hospital. No, Marv.
But something's designed to jump on people who walk by. That's not good.
Yes, please take care of yourself. We love you very much. We care for you. And anything you ever need, you know our phone number.
Yep.
You call us, and we will do whatever we can to anything.
Also,
Seriously.
the emails that we got to contact you from the groups, that one never worked.
Oh yeah.
Okay, well, we'll look into that. We can actually talk to you off air and see if we can do something about that, okay?
Yes, please.
Okay.
All right.
Love you. I hope the family's well, and we will talk to you later.
Yes, please
All right.
take care of yourself.
Yeah.
Moth Beta.
All right, you guys
Okay.
have a great
We
night.
love you.
All right. Love you too. Bye-bye. They have been a part of all of the different meetings over there, and those guys are really helpful to all of the local community there. They meet up in California. They've had bigger meetings, and one thing that will be said at all of the normal meetings before this happened is the people that go are like absolutely amazed. Almost every one of them is apprehensive at first because they think they're going to go and it's a bunch of tinfoil wearing hat, they've got a map on at their house in the basement with strings tied to maps and thumb pins. Those aren't the kind of people that show up. We have, we have lawyers, doctors. Overland Rob is an engineer. That guy can make anything. He was creating patents and all these things. Just beautiful minds and beautiful brains showing up. And when people show up, they're like, I can't believe this. These people are very smart. These are lawyers, doctors, policemen, firefighters, politicians. There's all sorts of folks watching the show. We've had senators and congressmen and all sorts of people, reach out. So it's a really awesome platform. Obviously, we stay neutral politically for the most part. Most people know kind of what my values are. But again, we accept everybody here, and we encourage people not to argue over that kind of stuff. Kind of like the 3 rules of the bar, right? Which most of you guys know, but and then as far as all of this going on, this is a really good thing. We need to have more discussions about it. Obviously, in this current climate, we can't talk about most stuff because most stuff is filtered, right? And we're not doing anything to harm anybody. We hope that, everybody understands that. So with that being said, I will be in the YouTube chat next to you. I should have said that at the beginning, but thank you guys that are watching on other platforms. If you do choose to support, it will be in the ticker for the next show. We're going to be doing something about that as well for D-Livers as well. So thank you for everybody's support. We are also shooting for global partner on this program. We hit the requirements. We turned in our application. So hopefully we end up getting that as well. So I hope that works out. I do love this platform. I think that a lot of people should understand and actually check it out as well. All the platforms are awesome as far as in their own ways. So I'm going to go back to chat here. Let's see. Marfia Sneasel, Goog this. World Bank launches first ever P-demic bonds to support 500 million P-demic emergency financing facility. Yes, so there's a lot of stuff going. So wow, so they did end up having to do that. I'm telling you, it's just absolutely nuts what is going on. Dex, there's craziness everywhere, obviously.
Yeah, there sure is. Yeah, I don't think they paid those bonds yet. I think what that person was announcing is what we talked about a couple shows ago, that they had set that up many years ago. And I think the term is if it gets announced as a P-demic, then yes, they would have to pay those bonds.
Somebody just said something, Dex. Again, you can always yell at me if it's buffering or anything, but again, you can exit the app. I've noticed this. I'm kind of used to it now. If something like that happens, you just exit, totally tap out of the app and then get back in. You don't have to log in and out. You just exit the app and come back in. Usually that fixes it. Sometimes I won't be able to see chat. If you are somebody who can't see chat, I always exit, go back in. I don't know what that is. I think maybe it's just how the phones react to it. Bird11 says, if it was, quote, made in China, they would never tell us for the sake of international relations. It would cause massive problems for the CCP, excuse me. Mary Sharp, thank you. WW West, thumb emoji. Nausea 9, all the Marfia badges in here. Absolutely, thank you guys. I appreciate you. Business Bride says, my school asked us to create a planner which included alternative internet sources should we not have it. This is what my daughter's school said. I talked to the assistant principal. They said they're going by the guidelines by the C, and they said that they are cleaning it. Everything else, are, a lot of schools are closing down here and there, and they have a schedule of cleaning, right? But on top of that, they are telling teachers to figure out a way to teach from home online. Able-bodied says this show is not buffering. Yes, again, it's usually a log out, or a jump out, jump back in. This is
Adam. If anybody's having technical difficulties, it's on them. If it's on us, I will be announcing it in chat and letting people know. But it show's been fine this whole time.
Look at this. This just in from fake news. The Georgia Guidestones are on suicide watch. I don't know why that's funny. I wore my N95 out and about today. First, it was horribly uncomfortable. Second, people looked at me like I'd grown a second head. Yeah, I got a lot of people, especially at Costco, people turned their head. People laughed. People literally were just laughing the whole time, like, ha ha ha. I don't care. I mean, honestly, if your attitude about preparedness is like that, that's exactly what we're combating. That's exactly what we're going up against. And it's just preparedness. We shouldn't panic. We shouldn't do that. It's sad that people panic when they see a mask. I don't know if any of you were wearing masks out and about and people walked away, literally looked up, because most people are looking at their phone. They look up and then they have a gut jerk reaction to move away. So these same people that aren't wearing one and that are not paranoid, right? They'll jump out of the way, or they'll walk around cars to get around you. Yeah, I was in that tight space. In fact, if you see that video where I'm walking along the side of the Costco, you actually can see two people going whoop and beelining it the other way. All Crazy says tap out Akarushi. Thanks for the smiley face. Patty Morton said toilet paper equals gold. Oh, you don't have a Marfia badge, Patty Morton. I will, if you pop into one of the other chats when I'm in there, I will gift you one. Oh, I can't do it. Never mind. Keeps Digging 7. says mine was gifted. Thank you again. Oh, you guys are awesome. Jumbo Jimbo 727. Q Rose, thank you. I appreciate that. Lady GT476, thank you for the diamond. Thank you guys for supporting. Rixer Upper, thank you for gifting a 1-month subscription to Lake Zabiz. Rebel Yell, thank you guys. Relic Army says made in China. Wow. Good Bond Doc. Yep, I saw that. Richie the Fam, thank you for gifting a subscription to Surplus Prepper. Surplus Prepper, welcome to the fam. Dono Houston, thank you. Darakin, Enchanted Bayou, Crystal Virgo, Disclosure Channel. All right, so let's get pumping. I appreciate each and every one of you. Earthworm Jim, I will add more cowbell tonight. Lynn, thank you for the diamond. Thank you for saving us from disaster. Stay safe. Shane XCS, Brandon Phoenix, Love 19. I appreciate each and every one of you. Now for the shoutro. It's not an outro. It's not a shout out. It's a shoutro. It's where I say thank you to the most important people here. You. Is my finger big enough? You. You. Have a good night. Be safe. Be prepared. And Marf out. Thank you to all of you today. Don't go. Darlene Awake and the rest of the crew. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, oh. Thank you, Jason 78, Karen from Columbus. Hello, Equan Pepper, and the rest of my humming. Brendan Phoenix, Little Ho, and Naja 9, thank you. Sweet Jen 77, and the rest of the crew. Rixer up and the rest of the crew, Sooner Mac and the rest of you. Kevin Fugel fam and the Earthworm Jam, gonna kick it with the Debbie Jordan. Got that up and the rest of the crew. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Sorry for the loop and doop a doop doo. Remember. But they just can't see. We just did the chest there, so if you were looking for the chest, you just missed it. We always do it 3 minutes into the choutro, and yes, I just said choutro.
I've got to make it up to my friends, the Gale Firestorm and the rest of my men. Neil Nelson and the T-Fisher, Anonymous West, the Mass Anti-Star, Conquest and the KCC. Got the T-Fisher and the Fisher with the T. Susan Donahue and the rest of my crew gonna get prepped up, get prayed up, and put on the full armor of God. On the full armor of God.
Cowbell. 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 That's some more cowbell for you. If you wanted the cowbell, you got it. Of course, the Lisa K 23 says she didn't want the cowbell.
Stormy weather coming back and now you go. Gotta bring it back down and knocking on. The pushing boots going and we got to go.
Kevin Fugel fam, DDD Big Sour, Big Sig Sour. Causing Trouble, D Forrester, Gem Gem, Blind Fear Baby Boy, and of course Queen Fisher RN.
Stormy 57272 with the Helen Dixon. What is up with you? King's X and the Baker Bay. All that lost wit just followed me. You've got the lost wit and you must have followed. You got the Daniel 7-7 and the hollow. Hey, G-Bowman, thank you for the lemon and the Colorado Cajun Victor being paid. and Ellie Joe, thank you for being big and low like mosquitoes. Mosquitoes, butterfly, Richie the Fam and the G-Shape-O. Helen, Hot Wyatt, Bob and Jay Bird hanging out, and we're gonna hide 11 absurd.
Ricks are uppers, Zeppeli and Frog. Thank you, Pat Leading Fox, G Bowman, Fugel Fam, Crystal Virgo, J Stone 78, LC, LMCJ. Mixing it up today.
Snap a bee, stormy weather, stormy 7-5. And you've got that Curly Q 1971. Wait, thought it was 5, but that kid D-Cat or Katrina gonna bring that like a minionator. Prepper squad, I said, hello guys. I just said Diddy, Bill, and Marv with the clear snick. It's a person and that mutant factor coming back, and now the bird of beetle are. Oh yeah, they love the Marfoogle family, but they just can't. They love the Marfoogle family, but they just can't. See. They love the Marfoogle family, but they just can't. See. They love the Marfoogle family, but they just can't. See. They love the Marfoogle family. on a mess. You've got a mess to handle and you know how we do it, and you bring it right back and you see right to it. The Susan Donahue conquest and the Neil Nelson bringing it to it. The Crystal Virgo, hey, that Jason 78, Berto Beetle, Art and that able-bodied fall. Gonna bring it back, and now the 1 through 3 is gotta go somewhere else so you can be number one and in another life. In another life with the 313 Foogle fam and the Boom Boom C. Gotta get that N golden 3 with the 3 zeros before you with the Chance Paladin. Check him out, he's an author and he writes on his streams right out. And the Hacker Games 4 happens in sin, and that Pagana and the Newman 22 gotta see. Ah la 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 la. Make a happy song when the corona gets hard. Make a happy song when the corona gets hard. Make a happy song when the corona gets hard. Make a happy song when the corona gets hard. Make a happy song when the corona gets hard. Make a happy song when the corona gets hard. Hey, my girl, my boy, my all. You got to bring it back around, and you all gotta say love to the Cindy Moore. Thank you for the ice cream. Thank you for supporting me. Oh, babe, 777. Thank you for the donut time. Gonna get that holy hot. See with that Goldilocks. With the Goldilocks. With the Goldilocks. With the Goldilocks. With the Goldilocks. What's up, you? What's up, you? Hey, with the JR tail horse, that kitty cat or Katrina. Gotta bring it back like we mean with the Jackie Roddy boss and the rest of the Mina. Gonna bring you back like we Darlene. Wake got a cake and they're never gonna eat it. And they're gonna go see ya, T. Fisher, with the Neil Nelson and that Beamer. Hey, thanks you for being the top contributor. The top contributor. Sweet Melissa with the fat leading fox. Never give a care now. Richie the fam and the Jimmy Lynn. Gotta bring the PDO with the 0007. Like that, like secret agent. Gonna bring it back like the Mr. Asian. Don't walk away, don't be racist. And you really wanna come back now. you? What's up, you? What's up, you? A GP. What's up, you? A GP. What's up, you? A GP. Hey, Curly Q, thank you for hanging out.
You want to know what's going on? What's really going on when it happens? Go to marfooglenews.com and get Marfoogle alerts along with a Discord invitation where you can find your local state group and get together with the Foogle fam. You'll find fast friends where you'll share prep and intel, and there's even special groups for former and current military. But don't try and steal the valor of those who have really served. It won't go well for you. The Marfoogle fam is waiting for you.